I take the same path to the station every morning. A narrow track, 2 gates, and fields stretching out aside. There's a stile halfway, polished by boots and rain, that leads the path down to the valley. The shortcut saves me 4 minutes. 5 over walked briskly. It's quiet out there. No roads, no houses. Just the hum of the pylons, the dull whisper of grass in the wind. I find the walk gives you time to focus on the day ahead. The cases in court, my speeches to a magistrate, things like that. About midway across stands a rather old, large oak, all alone. Its branches bent like elbows. I've passed it hundreds of times without much thought. Until the morning, I noticed the boy. He was halfway up the tree, astride 2 thick horizontal limbs, 1 foot on each, perfectly balanced. I squinted against the low sun, thinking you must be playing. A dare, maybe. Boys have always climbed trees. Well, that's what they do. I called up a little uncertain, something cheerful. Meant to make it clear I wasn't alarmed. "You're right up there?" I asked. He didn't answer. He moved, though only slightly, his head turning towards me as if to acknowledge I'd spoken. The wind shifted his coat, but not him. I waited another moment, smiled like an idiot, then walked on. I thought about it for most of the day, not because he'd done anything strange, but because he hadn't. Stillness lingers longer in the mind than motion. The next morning, well, he was there again, same place, same stance. 10, 11 years old, perhaps. If I'd known better, I would have sworn it was the same moment replaying itself. I hesitated at the stile, feeling foolishly self-conscious for some reason. When I finally looked, I had the odd impression he was waiting for me. He was already watching me. He wasn't close enough for me to see his face properly, but there was something off in the proportions. The stillness of his legs against the restless coat, or perhaps the way the branches seemed to hold him like reins. I told myself he must be practicing something, balance tricks or, well, whatever boys do these days. I said it aloud, half under my breath, reasoning with myself. But then he didn't move again. By the 3rd morning, I found I was looking for him before I got there. Yes, there he was, still perched between those branches. I walked faster, tried not to turn my head. The following day, I left home 10 minutes later than usual, deliberately. It was raining, and the light was somehow strange, silvered, flat. The oak tree stood bare and empty. Relief hit me. But as I crossed the field, I glanced back and saw something. A shape on the bark, a shape like a boy. I laughed it off, too quickly. That evening, I mentioned it at the local shop, with the sort of voice that makes clear I'm not really invested. The woman behind the counter smiled, distracted. "No oak trees out that way," she said, sliding my change forward. At the pub, the landlord said the same. "No, just pasture down there. Lost a lot of trees after that storm." The old farmer by the stile, well, he was more direct. "That oak's gone," he said. "Lightning took it clean. Back in '82. Oh, shame really. Lovely old tree, that." I opened my mouth to correct him, but then stopped. His expression left no room for argument. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the branches, like open arms. That perfect motionless balance of the boy. The next day, I went back at dusk. Against my better judgment, the air was cold and still. A mist sat low over the grass like a breath. The oak stood waiting, exactly where it always had. Only small somehow now, contracted somehow. There was no sound of the boy. The tree was empty. Unremarkable. But then came a sound, faint and deliberate, the creak of branches shifting overhead. There was no wind. I told myself the noise came from the pylons, that the whole field was humming, not the tree. But I wasn't convinced. I didn't go that way for nearly a week. 15 extra minutes. But, well. On the 7th morning, the habit tugged at me. I woke early, saw the weather was clear, and thought, why not? The path looked harmless again, ordinary again. The grass was wet from the dew. The oak was a sprawling silhouette against the sun. No boy there. The relief was immediate, almost childish. I even laughed quietly to myself. What else was there to do? Fear doesn't stand up well in daylight, does it? I crossed the field quickly, already composing an apology to myself for such foolishness. 50 yards past the oak, I turned, automatically, like glancing back at a door I'd just locked. Something about the shape of the tree was wrong. A faint sway caught my eye, moving with the rhythm of the wind. The air seemed to pull inward. Even the hum of the pylons seemed to fade. For a heartbeat, I told myself it was just a shadow, just a trick of the light through the mist. But then I saw them. Figures at the base of the tree. Men, women, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, all staring up. The boy, hanging, struggling, the rope choking the life from him. I blinked. The tree, the surroundings were empty again. I stood there longer than I should have, the grass soaking through my shoes, the back of my neck prickling as if I were being watched from above. Then I told myself the oldest lie in the book, that I'd imagined it, that I'd wanted to see something strange, so I had. I walked on, deciding that my fitness wasn't what it used to be, that in future, starting this evening, the longer route, well, it would do me good.